All right, I want to give everybody a couple minutes to join. So I'm going to let you guys know, first of all, there's somebody cutting a tree down next door. So it's super loud and the dog keeps barking. So if that happens, totally apologize. We're just going to have to go with it. So welcome to SEAY Shares. This is episode 4, and this episode is on probiotics. And thank you. My husband's on live. This episode is on probiotics, and it's kind of like this buzzword, right? With probiotics, we know we need gut health. We know we've heard of leaky gut. We've heard of all these things restoring our gut health, and it's kind of like, man, like what does all that mean? And so I want to kind of create an analogy. Imagine if you had a garden, and basically an atomic bomb dropped on it and kind of killed everything. You need to regrow your garden, but before you can just start planting, you have to kind of let the soil regenerate and let it flourish and retreat it and start from scratch to really give it the nutrients to have a healthy garden. Well, the same is true with your gut health. And a lot of the things that, and I will cover a lot of the things that can affect your gut health and kill off a lot of your good bacteria. So, it's interesting because gut health isn't even just about, your digestive system. I was talking to a doctor one time and she says, the healthier your gut, the healthier your entire body. Truly everything starts and ends with the gut. And so it's so important to have amazing gut health. But the problem is that so many things that we do every single day slowly kill off that gut health, right? It's like that slow atomic bomb that just keeps continually to kill off our gut, and yet we're not restoring it. So in this episode, I'm going to share some of the things we do that kill our gut bacteria, that harm it. Then I'm going to share some of the things that when we do restore it, all the health benefits that come with it. And then I'm going to end by sharing with you types of probiotics and things to consider when you do choose a probiotic, because believe it or not every probiotic is created equal. So let's get started. So some of the things that can affect your gut health. Number 1, sugar, right? Sugar is totally a bad guy. We know it from a diet aspect. We know it from an artificial sweetener aspect. We know it from an attention deficit aspect. I mean, so many things about sugar. Sugar is, more addictive than cocaine, and yet we put sugar, pretty much in everything. Restaurants put sugar in things, just the amount of sugar, but sugar is detrimental to our gut health. So the next thing is processed foods. Basically anything that's not, the way nature intended. Lean cuisine and Weight Watchers and those kinds of foods did not come, didn't exist 200 years ago. They weren't God given to us. They've been processed so that they have a very long shelf life. So processed foods and the chemicals that come in the foods. A lot of these restaurant foods, they put chemicals in the food to sustain the life of the food so that it lasts longer. So it increases their profits. But processed foods in general also can kill off our gut bacteria. Chlorinated and fluoride water kill off our gut bacteria. Antibiotics, and a lot of people think that what do you mean? Like only take antibiotics here and there. Antibiotics come in a lot of our foods, especially if you're not buying organic meat, because the way these factory farmed animals are nowadays, they're getting sick constantly, spreading disease throughout one another. They're living on top of one another, rubbing up against, the sores on other ones. So they feed these livestock a ton of antibiotics to try and prevent them from getting ill. Well, we are what we eat, right? So we're eating what our food has been given. So whether it's hormones or antibiotics, we're ingesting that as well, which in turn affects and slowly kills off your gut health. Plus, if you've ever been sick or in the hospital or had any kind of surgery, you're usually given high-dose antibiotics, but very rarely do the doctors tell you, hey, you're on a really high dose of antibiotics. Make sure you follow this round of antibiotics by restoring your gut health. So that's another thing that unfortunately a lot of physicians don't really share. Pesticides, we breathe pesticides in the air. I live on a golf course. There's pesticides that we have people come and spray our house. Pesticides on foods if we're not buying organic foods to keep the bugs off of the foods. Stress is another big one that affects and kills off our gut flora. Pollution in the water, in the air, as well, and NSAIDs, which are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medicine. So things like an Advil or something that reduces inflammation. Pills that reduce inflammation can also kill off your gut bacteria. So you can imagine, right? You're thinking, man, there's a lot of things out there that can really negatively affect my gut health. So if you aren't actively looking to restore it, and I don't know any of you, if you saw my episode 1 on leaky gut, plus now we're eating gluten, which releases the zonulin production, which creates those permeability in our gut. So that on top of all these things that are killing off our gut bacteria, it's no wonder our gut is in a pretty sad state of health. So when you do restore your gut bacteria, I want to share with you some of the benefits because these are pretty amazing. So first of all, you have more nerves in your gut than you do in your spinal cord. Pretty crazy, isn't it? So if you think about everything that's attached with your nervous system, and this will make sense in a few minutes when I get to some of these benefits. So 80% of your immune system lives within your digestive tract. So the stronger your digestive tract, the stronger your immune system is going to be. And obviously that means you're going to get sick less often and feel better. So think about 80% of your immune system is in your gut. So the healthier your gut, the healthier you are. Good bacteria also influences your metabolism, and it helps with maintaining your weight and survival of that good bacteria. So when you do have good probiotics on board, it definitely may help reduce the body fat that your body stores. Probiotics help heal leaky gut or it's helping break down a lot of those foods. And it also helps support your urinary tract. Sorry, I lost you guys for a second. I hope you guys are back. Okay, anyway, so some of the things when you affect and you grow all that good bacteria, some of the benefits that you're going to get. So think about this, right? How many people are on antidepressants? They're on medications that like Paxil, Prozac, Zoloft, Celexa, to name a few. You have more serotonin receptors. 95% of those serotonin receptors. So serotonin is it's the receptor that is in your brain that makes you happy. And that's the receptor that a lot of these antidepressants target. 95% of those serotonin receptors are actually made in your gut. So the better your gut health, the more serotonin production you have, and the better you feel. Again, so instead of, and I'm not saying not taking antidepressants, but there's definitely a place for them. But instead of thinking first line of, oh, let me get an antidepressant, a lot of benefits when you improve your gut health is also going to improve your mood because you're going to increase your serotonin levels. There's also, in this book, Brain Maker by Dr. David Perlmutter. Love him. He's a neurologist, right? So most of our nerves actually come from our gut. He has really good evidence in his book, and he shares about the benefits of gut health with diseases like autism, MS, Alzheimer's, and ADHD. And if you have any of that family history or know someone who does, that would be a great book to purchase because he really talks about the gut microbes and helping those ailments because there are so many receptors in your gut that will help your immune system. So what probiotics to take? And this is really important because a lot of people will think, okay, my doctor says, hey, go get probiotics, or you watch something on TV and it's like, go get some probiotics, right? How many people have heard that? So they go to the grocery store and everything now, it seems like in the dairy section is like, hey, includes probiotics, has probiotics, and they take them and they wonder why they don't get any better. So not all probiotics are equal. In fact, there's hundreds of strains of probiotics. So one of the things that you want to consider is the type of probiotic. And a lot of these, Dannon yogurt and stuff like don't have quality probiotics. And I'm going to talk about survivability in a moment. When you get a probiotic, there are certain strains, and I will share the strains in the comments below, but there are certain strains of probiotics that work in different ways. And because you have this whole ecosystem that you want to regenerate, you want something that's got several strains of probiotics. The next thing is you want about 40 billion CFUs. And what that basically means is a number of kind of like potency in a way. So you want at least 40 billion, whatever it says. So you can say on the front of this yogurt, hey, it contains probiotics, but it could be like hardly any amount that's even going to do any bit of difference. So 40 billion is the number that you want. The other thing is you want to make sure that you're doing prebiotics. So in episode 3, I talked about fiber, and fiber is a prebiotic. Fiber is going to, especially the soluble fiber, is really going to help those probiotics grow and flourish. So they work synergistically together. So getting probiotics and your prebiotics with your fiber is really going to help flourish and regrow your good gut health. Here's the last thing I'm going to share with you, and it's this: survivability. And this is a story I'm going to share about a physician that messaged me one day. So I do promote a certain meal replacement. I'm not going to share what it is here. You can message me if you want to hear about it. I do promote a certain meal replacement, and he messaged me and he says, tell me what kind of probiotic is in your meal replacement. Well, gosh, nobody's ever asked me that before. So I go, I get the bag, I turn it around and I look and I see on the back and I said, it's Bacillus coagulans, whatever that means, right? And he is actually a GI doctor, and he messaged me back and he said, you know what's interesting? He goes, I'm really impressed. He says, because not all probiotics are created equal. And the thing with Bacillus coagulans is this: it's the only probiotic that's made by nature, it's 100% natural, that has the integrity to survive the stomach acid. Many probiotics, once they hit the stomach acid, they break apart and they never get to the small intestine to do what they're supposed to do. And the Bacillus coagulans is one that can do that. It has great sustainability to actually do what it's supposed to do, where many others don't. He said, and I'm like, well, gosh, well, why doesn't everybody use that? And he said, you know, unfortunately, it is a very expensive probiotic to manufacture. So most food companies and supplement companies don't use it because it really decreases their profit margin. But it is a phenomenal probiotic, and I'm really impressed your company of the shake you drink includes it in there. So that was something that I had never really thought about, but obviously it makes sense. You know, you can have the best probiotic in the world, but if it's not reaching the small intestine, it's kind of a moot point, right? So not all probiotics are created equal, and it's so imperative that you guys really, if you've been exposed to any of the things I've mentioned before, which I think we all have, right? I even know my kids have. It's imperative to have probiotics and prebiotics as a part of your day to really get that good gut health, improve your skin, improve your memory, improve, everything with the brain function and your immune system, all the benefits that having really good gut health can give you. So like, comment, or share if you love this video, if it has helped you. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. I'm Shay Stanford, and this is episode 4 with probiotics of Shay Shares. Take care, guys. Refine your life one day at a time. Bye.